Hello, everyone, and welcome to our last Denver Metro monthly mortgage and market update of the year for 2022. I am ready. Miss Nicole, are you ready?
Oh my gosh, bring in 2023. I think we're all ready.
I think we're all ready for a new year, a fresh start, a new beginning. So let's talk about end of year stuff. So as you know, I always pull some numbers, and today I don't know if I'm surprised or not, but the active number of units in the city of Denver proper under 1 million is now under 600 today.
It is.
Down to 593. So, but it's that time of year. I mean, it's the holidays. People are going dormant. People want to celebrate the holidays. They're traveling. They don't want to put their homes on the market. So, it's just that time of year. But
Right.
for you and I were talking before about, and we always talk about this on our monthly calls, but the consumer price index. And that is
Yes.
something that you pay attention to a lot. I probably should pay attention to it more. But why should homeowners, buyers, sellers be paying attention to the consumer price index?
So that's a great question. The Consumer Price Index, the CPI, came out this morning and it came out lower than expected. Now it's still increasing, and that's a metric of inflation. So this is the CPI is what consumers feel, hence the Consumer Price Index. It's kind of like when you go to the grocery store, the gallon of milk, the gallon of gas. What you're paying for clothes. So and rent and mortgages. So what you're paying on a daily, monthly, annual basis is measured by the CPI. You have other inflationary metrics that measure things like wholesale or measure things like more industrial or commercial based. So this one is really the one that's hyper-focused on the consumer. So as that inflation number is up and higher, that means that long-term bonds, AKA mortgage rates, are also up. That because a mortgage rate is just a bond yield. It's the same thing. So inflation's up, mortgage rates are up, inflation comes down, mortgage rates come down, and it allows for consumers to get back into the market at a little less of a monthly price based on the fact that that interest rate can now be locked in lower. That's why we care.
Of course. So who controls the CPI, or is it a plethora of people, entities that control the CPI?
So the CPI is simply a metric. It is measured as far as they take a grocery cart type of a series of products. They determine what that price is over time, and they watch the price of those products go up and down, and then they measure those. And it's across all services and all products. So it's really a very wide metric. And you can go in and you can see that hospitality is going in one direction versus other types of goods, like maybe airfare is going in one direction versus your rent versus the groceries that you're buying or the gas. So it's definitely broken out by category, but then each one of those categories are broken down further. So it's just a measure overall of the consumer products that we as Americans buy.
There you go. Good to know. And the more you know. So we are now in the last couple of weeks of December heading into 2023. What should we be looking at? What should we be paying attention to for those who still want to pay attention and not bunker down for the holidays? And what should we be looking forward to for 2023?
So 2023 is going to give us back some normalcy, right? So we saw some very extreme interest rates. Now, if you were not shopping for a home, you probably didn't care. And especially if you bought a home in the last couple of years and got a super low interest rate, you really haven't cared about what's been going on. And maybe your job has been fine. Maybe your wages have even been going up. Well, the economy as a whole is heading towards a recession, a slowdown of spending. And that slowdown of spending will calm inflation, which will bring down the cost of borrowing. Really, ultimately, Fed Chair Powell and the rest of the board is watching these inflationary numbers and determining where their Fed rate goes. And that Fed rate is that they're coming out again tomorrow. And as they talk about that, I, as a consumer, again, I might not be paying attention. I don't really know what Powell is saying. Maybe I don't even care what Powell is saying. But he's watching the overall speed of the economy. People will need to lose jobs. The economy will slow. That will bring down inflation, which will allow the cost to purchase or borrow to come down. All of that as a homeowner means that your equity will continue to increase. Right now, it's been decreasing slightly. because of the high inflation. So then it'll start to normalize and then it'll start going back up again. So as a homeowner, you care. You want to see that. As a buyer, you care, because going into next year, we're going to see interest rates come down. You'll be able to spend or afford a little bit more. But you also have to know that more sellers will come out. Those sellers are buyers. More buyers will come out that have been sitting on the sidelines, and competition will come back out. So next year is going to be both a normalizing year and a rebirthing year for all of that demand that was sitting on the sidelines. So if you're renting, now is a great time to talk to your real estate agent, to your lender, right? To then identify what your opportunities are, if not for today, but into next year, because the first quarter is still going to give buyers a great opportunity to get in and negotiate. And then the second quarter, when rates come down, then it's going to get more buyers in the market, more sellers converting, more competition, that those home prices are going to flatten out and maybe even go up a little bit. And you're going to have to compete. You're not going to get as good a deal as a buyer. And you can always refinance the second half of next year, drop that interest rate, and be in a great position. I mean, next year's opportunity.
Exactly. And I was going to speak to that opportunity as well, like you talked about from the real estate side, because if there are any buyers on the fence, or maybe buyers that took a break earlier this year, think about re-looking at the market right now, because sellers, depending on their situation, some are desperate to get their house sold. So their home prices are coming down, especially right now and in this month, because it is such a dormant month. So I encourage my buyers to actually take advantage, just like you do for your buyers. Take advantage of this time. Keep looking, keep shopping, and keep negotiating, and have me and Nicole negotiate for you, because we're the best. But also, don't discount this time of year and then go, I mean, yeah, go skiing and go spend time with your friends and family, but at the same time, keep your pulse on the market, because you never know when a seller needs to sell and has to sell now, because every situation is different. They might have gotten a job in Texas and they have to move right now, so it's always a good time to just obviously keep your pulse on the market. But yeah, so anything else we should look forward to, or anything else before we hit the holiday season?
Oh my gosh, I love this time of year. I love the ability to kind of hit the reset button, to rethink about your goals and what you want to achieve this year, whether it's physical achievements, or maybe you want to learn something new or do something new with your business. But this really is an opportunity to take a health check on your real estate, right? So the same way that you'd sit down with a financial advisor maybe once a year, sitting down and assessing what kind of equity do I have in my real estate. Your real estate, for most Americans, is the way that you're going to build wealth and support yourself in retirement if done right. It could be the very pathway to creating that financial stability. So having the knowledge and understanding the strategy behind real estate, like right now when things are a little bit slower, maybe they're slow at work, maybe they're slow on the job, that you can get the opportunity to carve out an hour and put together that strategy. That is a fantastic use of time, other than eating holiday cookies and drinking a lot of eggnog.
That's right. And actually, speaking of that, I did just that, because I purchased a home about 2 years ago where I couldn't put 20% down. So I've had private mortgage insurance, PMI, for the past 2 years. And so this fall, I took some time out and I'm like, you know what? I talked to my mortgage provider, which I didn't know you at the time. So that's why I didn't use you at the time. However, we had a conversation and I said, you know what? Let's time to get rid of that. And I just got rid of it. So like you said, it's good to take maybe a temperature check of your real estate and your equity in your real estate. Maybe that's something you can get rid of. So always good to take a look at your financial plan heading into a new year.
I agree. And I would even challenge everybody that's watching this that sees this to DM Marybeth and just say, hey, can you tell me where you're at? This isn't a sales pitch. This is the kind of service that I know that she does on a regular basis, to say, what is the equity that you have in your home? What is the strategy? If not this year, maybe 5 years down the road, and simply giving you feedback. It's good to ask somebody who's in the know, in the streets, kind of watching property values, to give you that realistic view. It's the same way you go to a financial planner.
Exactly. And I challenge everyone as well to talk to Nicole. All of her information will be down below of this YouTube video. but also just like you, like take a pulse of what, you know, the CPI is and all the stuff. Cause you keep your pulse on the economy so much more than me, I must admit, which is great because then I just go to you and I'm like, hey, Nicole, what happened today? Tell me all about it. So with that said, thank you everyone for another wonderful year. Thank you for joining us on these webinars. And again, I will have all of Nicole's information down below. My information will be down below as well. Please reach out to us. Please ask us these questions. Be informed because like Nicole said, your real estate and your real estate investments will help you achieve financial wealth in the long run. Agreed. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Nicole. We will see you bright and early next year. How about that?
Love it. I'll see you then.
Right. Thanks.